Alright guys, back in the shop. It's Wednesday, although recent polls show that 50% of people don't care that it's Wednesday. I just made that up actually. Sorry, no fake news here. Well, I had to go to town this morning, so this is going to be a short day in the shop, but I do have a couple things to do. Well, no, I have a lot of things to do, but I think I'll do a couple of them today. Had to run to town for a few errands, and yeah, I think the hardest thing, this whole corona thing hasn't really affected our lifestyle very much, thankfully. But what is kind of hard though is when the weather is typical around here. Well, let's see, yesterday we had snowstorms and an earthquake, and then today it was hail and hail. So anyway, it's hard to get outside much, so I'm just kind of stuck in the house or the shop anyway. But anyway, so I think I'm gonna finish prepping Damascus billet and then start forging out some blades from that raindrop Damascus that we finished up yesterday. So let's get right to it. Oops. Okay, so as you can see, I'm doing a dry forge welding on this billet. It's what you would call zero atmosphere or whatever. Basically, instead of using flux, I encased the entire billet in mild steel, sheet steel, and that will keep the air, the oxygen out, and keep it from oxidizing, and it'll make for a really nice, clean forge weld, even nicer and cleaner than you get with flux, which is one reason why I like this. Haven't done it a lot, but it works really well. So it takes the place of flux. No need for flux because that's what flux does. And on the next, once I forge weld this and draw it out, however far, you got to restack it to get your layer count. That's only 21 layers, I think. Yeah, and I can use flux on the next welds if I want, or I can run a welding bead on the seam of each stack on the next one, and that'll just get pushed out to the edges, and that'll just be waste. You'll cut it off or whatever, but it just makes for a really nice, clean, mess-free. Doesn't matter how you do it. Damascus requires a lot of prep to get a good piece of Damascus, so it's kind of 6 in one, half a dozen the other, but I'm using this method today. And this is why we talk about moving south every spring. Welcome to Idaho, at least this part of Idaho. It's not like this in all parts of Idaho. Alright, that's all. Up here with the forge. It's warming up in here with the forge, and it's time to start forging on these kitchen Santoku style blades. So the billet is heated through, and I'm cranking the heat up a little bit to just to get it up to a nice welding temperature, which means I'll have to be a little more careful with that piece of Damascus I'm forging the knives out of. I don't want to overheat that. I mean, that's not really going to happen in this forge anyway, but just for scale, build up and stuff, and oxidizing away the steel. If you want to get a cool shirt like this, just go to blacksmithshirts.com. There's a link in the description below. Get some cool stuff. Still haven't lost all my sympathy weight from Sarah's last pregnancy. So that's coming along pretty good. I'm using the press to draw this out more because that's much quicker. So there you can see what we're dealing with here. It's just totally clean. Don't have to worry about that at all. So that's welded, and I just gotta taking this off so that I can press on all 4 sides. The ends don't really matter that much, I think. Alright guys, like I said, short day today, but got some stuff done, got some progress made on a couple projects. So this is the raindrop billet, and I have the handle forged out on each end. That one's still hot for those kitchen blades. That's kind of how I like to work those, and then I'll cut that in half with a piece in the middle, which will be the third knife. And then I have our billet right here worked down to a nice, pretty uniform dimensions here, and I'll chop that up into 3 or 4 pieces, probably 3 pieces, and go from there on that. So anyway, appreciate you guys coming along today. Stay safe, and don't worry, the king is on the throne. See you guys in the next one.